Why is there no... Sorry, everybody. I'm having some sound trouble here, so we're trying to fix it. I'm gonna come back online. Okay, hopefully you can see me. My camera is, let's see. All right, so good, it's working. I had to change cameras, so this camera isn't quite as good a broadcast quality as the other one, but the other camera wasn't working, so anyway. Sorry about that, everybody. And let me bring you online this way. Okay, so welcome again. This is the 13th of April, 2015. And forgive me for the sound. We had a little sound issue. Last week we talked about the fields that are surrounding you. We talked about 3 concentric circles of fields that represent your hot market, people you know and who know you, that represent your warm market. That's the second circle out from around you. And then the third circle represents what we call your cold market. And remember, our goal is to enroll 4 people in 8 weeks. It means you're going to be doing some marketing. You're going to be doing some outreaching. But the first step is what we talked about last week, was to understand that networking should be done before network marketing. I want you to write those words down. Learn how to network before you do network marketing. What is network marketing? It's selling things to your network. But what if you haven't properly prepared your network for selling? What if you haven't cultivated the fields that are around you? And what are the fields around you? Well, they're the people you know and the people who know you. And the goal is for you to befriend them, to be a friend of theirs, to be a person who is welcomed by you and who welcomes you, who leans toward you instead of leaning away from you, who wants to include you instead of to exclude you, who wants to be your friend. And that's because as a friend, you're not trying to sell them something every time you talk to them. I mean, how wild would that be? You know, every time you ran into a friend of yours, you were saying, "Oh, you open up your coat, you know, and you show them some watches you've got to try to sell them." I mean, network marketing is a bad name because people have been violating the trust that they have with their friends. Now, as we talked about last week, what you want to do is to learn how to befriend all the people who are in your friends list, and you're going to have a group of about 100 to 200 people that you know and who know you. and people that you want to do business with. Let's put it this way. You're going to be networking with this network of yours for the rest of your life. You don't want to destroy it by trying to push something on your network. However, there's one caveat. During the 8 weeks that you've been given a goal to enroll 4 people, you're going to have to be contacting the people you know. You're going to be doing some networking with the people you know. And yes, you will be selling some products to some people you know. And as I encouraged you to do last week, I'm going to encourage you to write a list of 20 people you know, people you believe would be high priority for you to talk to. And yeah, you're going to be calling them out of the blue in kind of a cold fashion. You probably haven't warmed them up. You probably haven't sent an email to them recently. You probably haven't seen them anywhere, recently, but you have just now joined a network marketing company. And the people who know you should be willing to listen to your quote unquote, to your pitch. People who you trust and who trust you should be one of the people that you would want to talk to because they are your friends. Now, remember, as I said, it's a very delicate balancing line between violating the trust of your friends by trying to pitch them something and at the same time asking them, for your help in a brand new business. So you're going to have 1 or 2 or 3 approaches when you reach out to talk to somebody you already know. You're going to build your list of 100 to 200 people. You should have that list built regardless of whether you're in network marketing or not. A lot of people get a little grumpy because you say, I want you to create a list of 100 to 200 people that you know. And you go, well, I don't want to do that. A lot of people are afraid to drop the list because they're afraid that you're going to have to go sell to those people. Well, for the first 8 weeks, you will, but carefully. And I'm going to explain it to you here in a second. Bottom line is you'll be networking and doing a more systematic way of communicating with the people you know from this time forward. At least once a month to once every 3 months, you're going to send all of them an email. And it has nothing to do with RX. It has everything to do to cultivating this relationship you have with them. Remember, in the 3 circles that surrounding you, the closest circle to you, right in the center, we call your hot circle, where you know 100 people and they know you. These people are there because they trust you. And there's probably a lot of high trust. And therefore, you don't want to violate that high trust, but once again, you're going to be communicating with them in one of several different ways. So let's talk about the first way. What people have always said about network marketing is if you were going to open up a clothing store, let's suppose you love men's shoes or women's shoes. Let's say a shoe store, and you're just always loved shoes, and your friends have always known it, and you said, I'm going to start a shoe store, and you call your friend on the phone and say, hey, Marge. Suppose you call in one of your friends. Her name is Marge. All right, Marge, this is a short call, and forgive me for not, spending more time, preparing for this call. I only have a couple of minutes. So you start off by making it very short, and you just say, if we've known each other for many years, and I've tried all kinds of different businesses. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And I love opportunities. I'm always pursuing something. You know that about me. Well, I've stumbled across something I'm really pretty excited about. Let me just ask you this question. Suppose I opened up a shoe store in the mall. The mall next to you. If I had a brand new shoe store, and there was an opening day, and I invited you to come to the opening day, would you come to the opening day of my store? And more than likely, Marge is going to say, well, sure, I'd show up. I'd show up at that event. You wouldn't have to buy anything, but at least it'd be great to have your support, wouldn't it? And of course, if you know Marge and she knows you and your friends, that's what you would do. You say, well, I'm not opening up a shoe store. I'm actually opening up an online store. I'm opening up a place that markets nutritional products, and I am passionate about these products. And the opening day, well, I just barely enrolled myself. I've just gotten started. And I'm just calling. I need to find 4 of my closest friends who will support me and help me get my little business off the ground. Because if I get 4 products, 4 people who have purchased the products on a regular basis, my own product can be free, and you get excellent products. And of course, it's 100% guaranteed. Now, if this is something you don't want to do, just don't worry about it. Our friendship is more important than any of this. But if you could help me, I'd appreciate it. Or at the very least, why don't you just let me share with you how I'm marketing to people, and maybe you can give me some advice on how I can grow it. And of course, if you ever take the products, 100% guaranteed. If you don't like them after the first month, I'll personally refund it, although the company has a 30-day money-back guarantee. In other words, and how long did that take? 3 or 4 minutes. It's just a quick call. And you want to make sure that it's quick, that it's something that you're doing that you wouldn't probably not normally do it this way, but since you have to enroll 4 people, you're looking for 4 people, you let them know. It's the truth right up front. You never try to, put anything over anybody's eyes. You're trying to say, come on and help. And I'm looking for 4. And then, of course, they want to ask more information about that. You just say, I'll let you watch this video called rxpresentation.com. And you can send them and let them watch that, or you can send them to whyrx.com, WHYARIIX.com. It says some videos of myself and Tim Sales and Tim Sales' wife. Those are good videos that people can watch. Or at the very least, like I said last week, sometimes you know somebody so well, like I've heard this many, many times, you just call up your sister and you say, Marge, give me your credit card. I'm doing something. I need your help. It's not going to cost much, but it's fantastic. Let's get started. Very rarely are you going to do it that blunt, but the bottom line is you do need 4. And so I want you to pick the 4 on the list of your 100 that are the most likely to want to help you. And that's because they know you so well. You're good friends with them. If I were to call up one of my best friends, they know me as their friend for many, many, many years. If I were to give them that particular presentation, if I did it for 10 people, I know that 4 of them are going to say yes to that. And they're going to say, well, how can I help? And I'll say, this is how you need to help. When on a previous company I was involved in, the person enrolled me had a meeting at her house, and she invited, according to I remember the story, she invited 40 people to come to her house. And she had some problems with her health and with her children, so her friends knew about her problems and her challenges and the divorce she was going through. So, she invited 42 people to come to her house for an evening presentation, and 4 people showed up. And that's, not very many people out of 40, only 10% showed up. And those 4 that did show up, she said to them, you all know me. I need to make some extra money. Got some financial problems in my life, a divorce and my sick children, and I need help. And you always told me that you wanted to help me, but I don't want you to give me anything. Just buy these products, and if you'll do that, then I'll earn a little stream of income. It'll help me, with my self-esteem, number one. But I would appreciate it if you would help me. And of the 4 people that showed up, 2 of them said yes, and from those 2 people, she built an unbelievably large international organization. From those first 2 people, she just called and she said, I need help. Now that's one approach. The other approach is, I want to help you. Just launched into something that I think is really pretty spectacular. I only have 4 spaces at the top of my organization. You could say it this way: I want to help. It's prime real estate. Now, if you enrolled with somebody who is very successful in other things they've done, they know that person is going to succeed. And therefore, their friends would want to be in that person's organization, and especially at the very top, in the prime real estate spots, in the power leg and the pay lines, those 4 spots at the very top. It's like buying prime real estate in downtown Dallas. It's not vacant ground out in the middle of the country. It's the best of the best. And if you have a quality relationship with people who know you're already succeeded, you're successful at whatever you set your mind out, then you could call them on the phone and say, I don't like doing it this way. I would rather we spent time, talking on the phone, going to lunch, whatever, so I can explain the full story. But quickly, here is what it is. Just hear me out. It'll be done in 5 minutes. And if it's not something you want to do anything with, then we'll never mention it again. We're friends for life. But I've just launched something that I'm really pretty excited about, and I want to share with you. And I called you first because you're prime real estate. I've got the best spots in my organization that I get started to launch this. And I thought of you first. Like I said, if it's not something you want to play in, or maybe you're doing something else similarly and you don't want to play in part of my team, then I totally understand. We're friends forever. Forget I even made the call. But I would be totally upset and embarrassed if a year from now, as I succeeded brilliantly in this brand new opportunity, and I bumped into you at a party somewhere and you said, why didn't you call me? And I would say, well, I was afraid to call you. I didn't want to, mess around with a relationship we have. So I just didn't call. So that's why I'm calling. And like I said, in 5 minutes, it's not something you want. Let's forget this. So there's I need help. There's I want to help you opportunity. And then the third opportunity is, I understand you have some health challenges. And if you know your friends well enough, you can reach out to those who absolutely need these products. It's what you would do. If you had a friend who was having a bout of kidney stones, and you'd been through a bout of kidney stones, and you knew exactly what medication the doctor gave you, and it worked brilliantly for you, you said, I heard the other day at a party I was at that you were kind of suffering through some kidney stones. How's it going? I've got this particular product that you might like. And of course, we don't deal with kidney stones. I'm trying to say, generally speaking, if you know they have some health issues, or if they know someone who has health issues, then you could call and talk to them that way. But it's only for these 4. Other than that, the rest of the 100+ people on your database, it'll be a reaching out with an email to let them know that you have launched a brand new business, and you're going to announce that you've launched a brand new business. And you're going to what's another word I want to find for you? It's just an announcement. I mean, it's a simple email that you might send out to them, or maybe a text, or maybe something on Facebook. I've launched a brand new thing. I thought you all might want to know about it. It may not be something you're ever interested in, but if you are, at least I got to let you know, right? And then after you've done the notification was the word I was looking for. You need to notify. You notify people this is what you've done. Why should you be embarrassed that you've launched a brand new business? Well, some of you are probably a little bit nervous because you're not sure whether this works for you. Well, is that what commitment is all about? You're not sure that these incredible products over here might not work? Well, that water bottle is incredible. It's the purest water you can get from a portable thing. That MOA is fantastic. Those for me, in terms of the weight loss, those 2 little bottles right there. What's been happening is since I've now succeeded at losing 45 pounds. I had 45 pounds last Wednesday. They had a group of our RX members here, 10 great success stories that were here last Wednesday shooting a video that you're going to see at the convention. And it's going to show pictures of us talking about how we succeeded and how those incredible products really, really flat out work better than anything you've ever seen. So you can tell I'm pretty excited about this. That's what I did on my Facebook. I just showed my before and my after picture. And this is the first time I've ever really done any, acquiring, customers from any kind of social media that I've ever had. In fact, when I built my previous company, there wasn't any social media. bottom line is you just notify people, and if you have a before and after picture, great, you can share it. Bottom line is you got to notify people. And then thereafter, every month or so, when you find a great article about anything that you think would be something you want to share with your database, you need to share it with them. You need to keep yourself at top of mind, is what they call it. I had a fellow that did some video work at my other house. We've not been in the house for 4 years. But every month or so, he sends an article to all of his customers, all of his database. And it's an article he thinks we might enjoy. He doesn't pitch. He doesn't say, I'm there, ready to sell you some VR video work. I mean, come over and fix your house video or whatever. He doesn't have to say that. I know exactly who he is. Now, have I responded to his email? No, I haven't. Do I appreciate that I get an email from him every once in a while? Yeah, I am. Every once in a while, I'll click on the article and read what he has to say, but I haven't asked him to come to this house and do any video work on this house to set up some AV stuff for me here. But I'm going to eventually, because he's just keeping himself there. As they say in marketing, they call it the drip campaign. You're just dripping a little bit of notification, a little bit of information, a little bit of free stuff. You're just dripping on them on a regular basis to kind of remind them that you're here, that you're available. And you never can tell when somebody who you dripped on, at the very beginning notification comes back to you and says, I didn't need a business. I didn't need an extra stream of income, but I just got laid off. And I know that you've been building a business because like every 3 or 4 months, you send me this little notification that things are going well for you, and you just let people know that you're succeeding at it, and congratulations for you. What could you teach me? Could you show me how to do what you're doing? This may be a year into it, but if you haven't dripped, over the next year, then they don't remember. You don't remember what you did yesterday. When you get an email once a month, after a little pattern builds up, you'll go, oh, well, they're still around. They're still consuming product. They're sending me some free information that if I find useful and interesting. And eventually, maybe they got a health issue. And maybe they've gained 30 pounds and they've got to go to their reunion, and now the reunion is looming and they realize, I got to lose 30 pounds or I'm going to look like gross when I meet the people that I went to high school with. And they remember that you lost 30 pounds or 20 pounds, whatever, and you had a product that really worked for you, and they didn't need it back then, but now they need it. So this is why you drip, and you're giving, you're not asking, you're not taking, you're not trying to push anything. Every drip is a give. I give you this, I give you that, I give you this, I give you that. You're a giver. People start recognizing you're not trying to push, you're not trying to convince, you're not trying to cajole, you're not trying to convince. You're just there as a friend. And if they need some help as a friend, then what you do is you help them as a friend. You just become a better friend. That's what network marketing does. You don't want to ruin your friendships. You want to make friendships better, stronger, lifetime friendships, So this is the first video we talked about last week, which is cultivating the ground that's around you. Now this week, let's talk about the parable of the sower. Matter of fact, more than likely in the book that I'll be releasing at the convention, and I'm going to be doing a full book that all of you may want to pick up a copy of. I'm announcing it to you right now. I had the printer was here today. We've made plans for how the printing is going to happen, so it's going to be available at the convention. More than likely, last week we talked about growing a tree in your central circle. Most likely in the next iteration of the teaching, it'll be about a sower, a person who's sowing seeds in the middle of a field, and the field is 3 concentric circles. When you sow a seed, you plant a seed. And remember, when when you're doing your dripping, in a sense, you're planting a seed, but not a strong seed. It's just a seed of awareness. I'm still here. I'm still your friend. If you ever need me for anything, I'm there. Give me a call. You're not pushing your business. You're just letting them know that you're around. When it gets to the further, circles out around you, when you're doing some social media and when you're doing meeting people on a daily basis, when you go out and meet people, you'll see opportunities where there are to plant a seed. Now, I'm talking about a real seed here, not a physical seed, but the kind of seed that we have in RX. Before I tell you how to plant that seed, I'm going to ask you a question. Suppose you could go to the chairman's store. And in RX, the top rank is a chairperson, who makes $6,000 a week and up. It's a lot of money. And we have many chairmen and chairwomen in RX, and they are, wow, they are amazing people. I've met them all over the world, and they are fantastic. And they've worked very hard to get where they're at. And they've gone from, and our company's only been around for 3.5 years. So they've gone from nothing, when a brand new company where there were no materials available and no websites or anything, and they've gone to chairman status, making $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 a week. This is serious money. Is it possible for you to do that? I would rather you thought you could not do that. I would rather take away that as an option for you. And I'd rather say, let's go get your products for free. Let's just sign up 4 people. If you do that, you'll do one of the hardest things that anybody does in network marketing. You enroll 4 people. If you can do that, then you'll teach those 4 how they can do what you just did. And now you've done it from your own experience. I've done it. Therefore, I know how to do it. Therefore, I can teach and I can talk to you about it. You help 4 other people how to do what you just did, and then you're one step closer. If you help those 4 how to enroll 4 to enroll 4, you're making some really nice income on a monthly basis, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. You teach 4 to enroll 4 to enroll 4 to enroll 4. We're talking about chairman status now. We're talking about, probably several thousand people in your organization, and you're making serious money. And with the compensation plan with RX, it's amazing. And it's residual, and it's fantastic. And then you get to spread the message of health and wealth to everybody you meet. So this chairman status, suppose you could go to a store and buy a chairperson. They're all up on the shelves of the store, and you say, what would it cost me to buy a customer that turned into a chairperson like that? Because if you have a chairperson in your downline, you have 4 chairpersons in your downline, you're making $1 million a year. So once again, that's a pretty big number, and I hesitate dropping a big number like that. Well, let's drop it down to president then. That might be even more simple. President makes about $3,000 a week. So what's that? A little over $100,000 a year. Totally doable. Totally doable. You could do that. I could do that. Anybody can do that. Would be a dedicated hard work at it, no doubt about that. But suppose you could go buy a president and put 4 of them in your organization. That's when you would be making serious money. What would you pay for one of those? If you were guaranteed that person you enrolled would become a president, you'd work with them for a while, you'd help them get started, but then eventually they would take off by themselves. They'd be enrolling people on a monthly basis. They would be happy, happy, happy. What would you pay for that? I mean, like, if you knew that was possible. It's an interesting question, isn't it? If you knew you'd be making at least $100,000 a year. Now, you can't do this, by the way. This is not something that's available. I'm just having you imagine for just a minute what it would be worth. What would you be willing to pay if you could buy 4 of them, let's say? and you knew that that would generate for you $100,000 a year for the foreseeable future, maybe for the rest of your life, and maybe for the rest of whomever you willed that organization to in your family after you, would it be worth $10,000? 20,000? I mean, yeah, if you knew the income was fairly certain. Now, this is not possible. You can't do that because you never can tell when a person becomes a president. When they start it with zero and they just get on fire and they just take off and they become what I call a thoroughbred. A thoroughbred is a person who just is on fire. And not everybody gets that way. You enroll, 10 people, 20 people in your organization over the next couple of years, maybe only one of them is going to be a thoroughbred. The question I want to ask you, I want you to write a list now of all the characteristics that would describe a thoroughbred for you. Who are you looking for? What would be the attributes of that thoroughbred, that horse that just would take off? Thoroughbreds, they love to race. They want to win, and just a little flick of the whip on the tail parts of that horse, and it is off to the races. It's going to compete. It's going to want, and yet if you enroll a donkey, you just can't seem to make them do anything. You can't even drag them across the finish line because they're just so stubborn. And some people, can I be blunt here? Some people you enroll and you think they're going to be the sharpest, smartest, best people you'll ever bring into your business. Of course, they're consuming the products and they're getting great health. And yet, although they feel the benefits of the products, they just don't talk to anybody about it. Maybe they're afraid to get their four. Maybe they're afraid to talk to their friends. Maybe they've been involved in another network marketing company and it didn't work out very well, and so they're embarrassed to talk to their friends about it. It could be lots of reasons. Point is, you just can't seem to drag them across the finish line. Is that the kind of person you want to enroll? You can't tell the difference between a donkey and a thoroughbred. You just have to enroll both. You have hopes, big high hopes for both. And you're willing to help with all your power the ones that seem to be showing some interest and are really reading all the things you're sharing with them and are talking to their friends about it, and you're helping them enroll people. What are the characteristics of a thoroughbred? Let me give you about 30 seconds to write down 3 or 4 characteristics. Say 5 characteristics of a person who you believe would have what it would take to become the thoroughbred, the president that you're looking for. Just write down a few things. And while we're out of here, let's draw some of our concentric circles. This time I'm going to use the draw function of idrew.com. It's a free program. I'm going to make that circle a little bit bigger. Yeah. And remember, you're the sower in here. You got seeds in your hands, and you're gonna be broadcasting seeds out through all of these different places. I'm going to put in So these little dots I'm putting in are just the seeds that you're sowing throughout, the fields that are around you. Remember we said last week, you're a sower. You're not a hunter. You're growing your relationships. You're making them better. You're not trying to cut the plant off. You're not trying to kill an animal. That's one of the reasons that people don't like network marketing, because it feels like it's all about, killing, and destroying. And instead, what you want to do is to be a builder, a person who builds. And you're going to be sharing these seeds with people that are around you, that are involved in your own organization, that are involved in what I call your hot market, people and you're going to be doing some dripping on them. You need to enroll 4, and those 4 might come from the people you know. They could come from the people that you're bumping into on a daily basis in what we call your warm marketing, or you're talking to people about what you're doing. And the bottom line is, wherever you find your 4, you find them. Now remember, I asked you the question about a thoroughbred. What are the characteristics of a thoroughbred? So let's put that in here. Hold on a second. I'll draw that one more time, excuse me. Now, like I'm doing this with you today, you're going to do it with the person you're training in RX. And you're going to ask them the question, tell me what some of the characteristics of this thoroughbred are. Tell me, let's come up with 5 characteristics. What would they be? A self-starter? Yep. Would they be very positive-minded? Yes. Would they be, really, really interested in the product that you're marketing, health? And would they really want to be? Would they like people? All these characteristics of a thoroughbred. I want you to ponder this question, because I'm going to say something that's rather shocking. It's easy to write down the characteristics of the kind of person you would love to have in your downline. If you could go to a store, these are the kinds of characteristics you'd want to buy in a person who would become a leader in your organization, at the top in your prime real estate spots. But here's the question I want to ask you. Are you a thoroughbred? Because thoroughbreds are attracted by thoroughbreds. And the best thing you can do to attract thoroughbreds into your life is to be one. Matter of fact, it may be the most important thing you ever do. For you to enroll a thoroughbred, you have to be the kind of person that you're looking for. That's why the last several weeks we talked about how you have a ritual in your life, that you organize yourself on a daily basis and you build your will. We call it your Sigma will, that you are focused on your goals, that you set your dones and your musts, that you lay out your purpose in life and you get online and on target with what you really want in life. You decide what you really, really, really want. And you commit to really, really, really achieve that. That's what thoroughbreds do. Thoroughbreds know what they want, can recognize an opportunity when they see it, and they're willing to act to go get it when they're given that as an opportunity. They follow their intuition. They are people-oriented. For you to start working on you becoming, and maybe you already are, I'm not saying you're not, but I'm saying the bottom line is, it should be your goal every day. I am becoming a thoroughbred. Regardless of what people think, regardless of whether they want to be involved in network marketing or not, I have chosen this as a vehicle. Therefore, I'm going to do this, even though other people may not think it's all that great of an idea. You see, the hero's journey going from your before picture to your after picture is you overcoming obstacles. And the biggest obstacle you will ever overcome is the obstacle in your own mind. And when you do that, you're a thoroughbred. Now, it spells the word RX for me. I'll just type this out. RX stands for attitude. It stands the word R for relationships. It spells the word I, which stands for independent. The next I stands for the word income oriented. And then X, they're excited about opportunity. Now, when you're going through your list of trying to figure out who am I going to call for my first 4 people, this is the list you should have in your mind. Are they a positive person? Would I really want to be in business with them? Is they fun to hang around with? Do they have the right kind of attitude? Do they like people? If they don't like people, if they're, like a computer programmer that works on code and doesn't work with people, would rather spend time on a computer screen rather than with a real human, maybe they're not the right person to call first out of the gate. They still need the nutritional products, absolutely, but maybe they wouldn't be the first 4 you would want to call. Independent means they want to be the boss. They are not employee-minded. They're entrepreneur-minded. They want to be independent. They want to do their own thing. Now, 83% of the people in America are employee-minded. Only 13% of the people are entrepreneur-minded, opportunity-minded. That means maybe only 1 in 6 or 7 of the people you know we're going to really jump on an opportunity. So, you want to kind of sift through the people you know first to try to find people who fit that description of ARCs, who are good-minded, opportunity-oriented people. They love people. They want to be independent. Income, they want to make some serious money. And they're not satisfied with ordinary money. They want extraordinary money. They want residual money. Maybe they need to make some money. And finally, since they're an entrepreneur, they like opportunity. All entrepreneurs love a good deal. And so when you share your good deal with them, they're going to respond more readily than if they were an employee and now you're talking about joining a network marketing opportunity, which means they're going to have to go talk to people, which means they're going to have to sell something. They're employees. They don't like to sell things. But as entrepreneurs, guess what? You want to be financially independent? You must sell something. You can't, underline the word cannot, achieve financial freedom without selling something. Cannot. So get over it if you're afraid of selling. Just get over it. Find what there is about the RX products that you love. Because when you're passionate about it, you'll share. You'll share with people because it's part of who you are. It's part of your belief system. So anyway, the first step is for you to go through your list and find those people who are RX, that spell the word RX, and then for you to become that same person yourself. And then when you're spreading seeds with people, you're going to be talking about the opportunities. Now remember, the very first day we said that there were 4 characteristics of the free lifestyle. Remember, we drew the frowny face. Let's hold on a second. Remember, we drew a frowny face down the bottom left-hand corner. We drew a smiley face in the top right-hand corner. That smiley face is actually a very large laugh. I said that in order for you to have freedom of all 5 areas, you can have some freedom in love, and you have some freedom in time freedom. You're going to have health freedom. Your body is the symbol for that. And then there was money freedom. There's all kinds of freedoms, right? Question is, which does your entrepreneur over on the left-hand side, your thoroughbred, which of those freedoms is most interesting to your thoroughbred? Do they really love to be with people and they love to hang with people and help people? Well, great. Then you'll emphasize that by sharing with what it is they want. Remember that you want to write the secret to success, or one of those secrets is find out what they want and give it to them. Find out what they want and help them get it. Write those words down. Find out what they want and help them get it. And the problem with network marketers is they are always approaching their friends and trying to sell their friends on what they personally want. They're trying to build their own organizations. Therefore, they're trying to tell their friends that this is what they want. The sower. The sower is planting seeds that will fall in fertile ground with people who want better relationships, who want free time, who want more health, who want more money. These are the things that you need to be, as you're talking with people, at a party you go to, you're asking them, tell me about your ultimate dream. What are you trying to accomplish? Like if you had your ideal, what would it be like? And so you're essentially going back to the very first presentation we did, which is called the dream presentation. And you're drawing the smiley face and the frowny face, and you're saying, what do you want? And you're not pushing RX at all. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're just trying to find out what they want. And then when you communicate with them from that time forward, make sure you're always speaking in terms of what they want. They may not want a network marketing opportunity. Maybe the last thing that they want, but they really have some challenges with their weight. Great. Get them that product. Don't sign them up in your network marketing company. When they've got their own success story to talk about, more than likely they're going to want to join, because people will be talking to them and saying, how did you lose that weight? And they're going to go, well, it's this product I was taking. It's part of this company. I didn't join the company. I just buy the products. And after a while of saying that for a few times, they're saying, wait a second. These products work. I could maybe be making some money at this. I'm passionate about these products. I'm telling everybody I know about it. And then they go, well, maybe I should enroll 4 people. At least I get my product for free. And then now they've stepped across the line, you see. They've stepped out of the customer arena into a representative arena. But it took them many months to get there. They had to go from a preferred customer to a business builder. And now they've got something to talk about, something to crow about. So you're literally trying to find out what they want and making sure that that's the seed you're planting. So when you throw the seed out, you're going to throw some love seeds out. You're going to throw some health seeds out. You're going to throw some money seeds, based upon it, and hopefully landing in the fields that are ripe for that kind of conversation. You're looking for a person who is so overwhelmed and so busy they don't have time to think. And you just say, how would you like to have time freedom? That's what I'm working on. I'm building time freedom. So the seeds can now start growing into these crops, and the seed that you planted grows into, this is a wheat, a piece of stalk of wheat. Might be a kind of a rough and this stalk of wheat, when you planted one seed, of course the seed here that you planted was the health seed. But when you plant that seed, guess what grows from that one seed? From the one seed grows a stalk that averages 100 seeds on one stalk of grain. Did you know that? You plant one seed and it starts to grow. It grows into 100-fold. Now remember the parable of the sower. You know, and it's a story that if you want to watch Jim Rohn talk about it, go to YouTube and type Jim Rohn, Jim, obviously R-O-H-N, Jim Rohn, and just type in the parable of the sower. And there'll be all kinds of people who have stolen that video, by the way, and they're using it to build their network marketing businesses. But they've clipped out the audio portion of his parable of the sower, and it lasts about 8 minutes. And I think all of you should listen to it. It's brilliant. And he basically says the sower goes out to sow one day, is planting some seeds, and some seed lands on rocky ground. And lands on the path. You know, so here's the path, and the seed lands on that path. Maybe it's in the middle of the highway, and the seed that lands on that highway, it is not going to grow. Period. It just isn't. The birds are going to swoop in and they're going to eat it and they're going to run off with it. So your seed isn't going to matter there, right? There's some other that are planted in the rock. He called it the rocky ground. And of course, this is a famous parable from the Bible, and yet it applies to everything in life. You know, some seeds you plant just don't generate any results. So you throw a seed out and it lands in the middle of the rocky ground, and there's a little bit of soil there, and it starts to grow for a while, and then it gets attacked by the sun, and the sun shrivels it up, and it dies. And it definitely does happen that way. There'll be some, you know, places where even amongst your friends, you know, where the seed is going to land in the thorny, in the thorns and in the weeds, you know. And this is my rough estimation of what it looks like to be a weed patch. And your seed lands in the middle of the weed patch. And what does that mean to you? It means that it's going to get choked to death by negative thinking. People are going to talk you out of it. You plant the seed there and the seed dies. It might grow a little bit, but after a while it gets choked to death and in the middle of the weeds, or it gets shriveled by the sun because it's the middle of the rocks, or it gets eaten by the birds because it lands on the path. And what I want you to realize is that most of the seeds you plant will not grow, will die, regardless of what you do, regardless how good the seed is. We have good seed. Good seed means we've got great products. We've got great opportunity. We've got great people. We've got great leaders. We've got the greatest network marketing seed there is, period. End of story. But it's still going to land on the pathway or in the rocks or in the weed patch. And as good as that seed is, it's going to die. And that's just the way it is. And if you can't handle that, this is not your business. You realize, however, you might have planted 30 or 40 seeds in the wrong places, but all it takes is one good seed planted with a person who really wants that seed, who wants the health, who wants the money, who wants the relationships, who wants the time. And that person starts to grow it, and it starts to grow for them, and it becomes a stalk with 100 more seeds on it. You plant all 100 of those seeds, and what do you get? You get 100 times 100. 10,000. You plant 100. You plant 10,000 of those times 100. You get 1,000,000. In other words, a crop, a bountiful crop, comes from just one seed that plants properly. In other words, if you could just find one president, 2 presidents, 3 presidents, and have their crop grow like crazy. Now, this is not an easy process. It's difficult. There'll be disappointments when you planted the seed and it looks like it was growing, and then somebody talks them out of it. It was planted in the middle of the thorns. You got started, you looked like they were growing, you see, it's planted in the middle of the rocks. The sun's going to burn that one. It won't last. You know why it won't last? Well, there are a lot of good reasons. There are a lot of good reasons. Maybe they have an accident or an emergency in their family, and they just can't follow through on the commitment they made. Sometimes they're involved in another opportunity that comes along, and they get sold something else because they're an opportunist, and therefore they'll keep jumping from company to company. You'll have some people who hate network marketing, have tried it 3 or 4 times and never did work and never going to do it again. And nothing you can do is ever going to change that. And then every once in a while, you'll bump into somebody who's been involved in another company and they love network marketing. They're having a ball, and then the company fails. This happens every day. A network marketing company starts 2 or 3 years ago, 1 or 2 months ago, a year ago, and you just got all excited and it fails. A lot of the big major growth that's happening in North Carolina is because many of those people were involved in another network marketing company and not in RX, but another company, and they loved that company and they were with it for 10 years and making big money. And one day the company just shut its doors. What happened? It's done. It's over. It's finished. It's out of business. What are they going to do? You're going to take all these friends that they built up over years? Where are they going to take them? Well, they took them to RX is what happened. And talk about one seed growing into a bounteous harvest from just 1 or 2 people in that previous company who brought all of their friends with them. Well, not all, but many of their friends with them. And they're starting to build again in RX, and they're loving it, and they're having weight loss. And you see, you never can tell when your seed is going to fall in that kind of soil. So this conversation tonight was about the sower. And guess who we're looking for? We're looking for, hold on a second. I got to erase that. I'll try that one more time. The sower. This conversation tonight is about the seed. And this conversation tonight is about the soil. There's 3 ingredients that you need to have to really succeed in this business. You need to be a sower. You have to sow every day. You have to plant seeds. Now, you're going to do that with the people you know by just dripping on them over a period of time. You're going to sign up 4, and then you're going to back off. Unless you help those 4 find their 4, and then, hey, then that's a different story. But the point is, you're going to constantly be sowing. You're going to be dripping, is another way of describing it. You're going to sow with your friends and family for the rest of your life, regularly, in systematized love. You're going to let them know you love them. You're going to do that. Every month, every 2 months, communicate with them all. Let them know you're still around. No, you're not trying to sign them up in your network marketing company. No, you're just trying to help them. And if they need help, you'll help them. You'll be a better friend. So you're the sower. This sower is a person who sows. And then as you do your networking, you're going to network with people who are people you meet on a daily basis. You're going to do some online marketing. You're going to buy some AdWords and things like that. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks from now. By the way, just wanted to remind you that the call next week will not be held. I'll be in Italy. I'm doing a 3-day seminar in Italy, and I cannot join in our call next week. So the week after next, we'll have another opportunity. We'll be talking about the nurturing of the seed so that it actually grows into a 100-fold crop. As the Bible story says, some seed falls on, stony ground, some falls on the path, some falls on the weeds, and the other grows 30, 50, 100-fold. This 100-fold is not a joke. Lots of seeds grow from one small seed into 100 times, a fruit with 100 times the amount of seeds in it. This is God's way. 100-folding is a natural thing that happens. It can happen for you, but you have to sow. What good does it do for you to leave your seed in your basket, inside your garage, or in your closet? If you're not planting any seeds, you're not growing any business. You have to plant every day, realizing that most of the seeds you plant will not fall on good soil. It has nothing to do with you as the sower. It's not because you're a bad sower. It's not because you don't know the product's good enough or you're afraid to answer the questions they might have. It's not because it has nothing to do with you. And you need to just take that out of your mind immediately. A person who is hungry for the right message will buy from the worst salesperson. A person who is not hungry to buy won't buy from the best salesperson. It has nothing to do with you. Either they need it and want it, they'll buy it. Or they don't need it and they don't want it. And therefore, whatever you say or however you say it, yes, you can get better at it. Yes, you can improve. But the bottom line is 1 in 10 of the people are going to say yes, no matter how bad you are. Or at least going to take a look at it, no matter how bad you are. So the sower, you know, your characteristics of a sower, you just need to have the 5 characteristics I talk about. You need to have a positive attitude. Therefore, this frowny face that we got down here, even though you might be midst of all the problems that you might think of in your life, you got to change that into a smile. People want to hang around smiley face people. They don't want to hang around a, you know, sourpuss promising that they can have a better life when they can't even imagine it themselves. Put a smile on your face. Have a good attitude. Love people. And love them so much you don't try to sell them every time you see them. Love them by finding out what they want and help them get it. That's what love is. Be your own boss. You're the boss. You know, if you can't learn from here, or you can't learn it from your upline, then you're going to have to figure it out yourself. Just figure it out. You want to make some serious money? Do you people you meet want to make some serious money? Sure, they do. Not everybody. Only 13% are really money-oriented like that. And then finally, they got to be excited. You've got to be excited. If you're not excited, how do you expect them to catch fire? If you're nothing but dark coals, embers that have gone out, and you're saying, here, light your fire on my fire. If there's no fire in you, they won't catch fire. You're the thoroughbred in the making. You're the one you're trying to attract. You're the model of what you want them to be. The seed is perfect. Nothing wrong with this seed. Nothing wrong with network marketing. Nothing wrong with nutritional products. Nothing wrong with the price of our products. Nothing wrong with any of it. It's perfect. So it has nothing to do with the seed. It always has something to do with the soil. Some soil is not ready yet. You can't tell a fruit to grow. You plant the seed and then 3 weeks later you expect there to be fruit on that tree. It takes time. And sometimes it never grows. So the bottom line is it's all about them, always. And sure, make sure that you're delivering what they want. The more they know that you're interested in providing what it is they really want, the more you want to help them get that. And they understand that, the more they'll trust you. And if they trust you, they'll enroll with you. And if you treat them like the customer that they deserve to be treated like, if they trust you so that you're always there to help them, they'll open up the doors to their network to you because they'll trust you that much. And they'll say, let's go talk to my database. You'll help them find 4 people of their acquaintance. You'll help them get their product for free. But it's a game of nurturing and making sure that the seed lasts long enough to sprout into 100-fold. So next week we're going to talk, well, 2 weeks from now, we're going to talk about what do you do to nurture that seed so that they start to believe that they can do this too. That's our conversation for next week. In the meantime, I wish you well. That was our little chart that we drew for tonight. I hope that's been helpful to you. You're always welcome to email me at robertgrantallen@gmail.com. Wish you well, everybody. My best to you. God bless. Be a great sower, because the seed is fabulous. And help that soil sprout the seeds you plant into a lifetime of unlimited wealth, unlimited health, unlimited love, and unlimited time. That's the business we're in, my friends. I love this business. Good night, everybody. We'll see you all. Let's see. Good night, everybody. See ya. If you have a friend that's interested in any of those four things, love and time and money and health, bring them onto the call next week if you feel it would be appropriate for them. No, not next week, 2 weeks from now, if you feel it would be appropriate. I hope that's been helpful to you, and I wish you well. We'll stop our broadcast. Bye-bye.